Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Wednesday. It's beautiful. I hope you enjoyed the last vid. That was my first attempt. And not bad for a first attempt. I thought it was pretty cool. Today we're going to make a beef stock. And, you know, not too many people go to the trouble of making beef stock. A lot of people would rely on those containers, you know, you can get in the store, or get beef cubes and put them in hot water and let them dissolve. But if you've ever read the labels on those containers, there's a lot of preservatives and things in there that just really don't sound... I remember having monosodium glutamate in a margarita in San Diego one time. Oh my God, I had a terrible reaction to that margarita mix. It had that stuff in there. Not good. So I'll never forget that. And when I was reading in the store the other day, I just thought I would read the label. In fact, we might have one here. Let's see if we've got one here. Ah, yes. Along with the oil and olive oil and the Italian seasoning. Okay, we've got a Knorr chicken bouillon thing here. Ingredients: salt, palm oil, monosodium glutamate, cornstarch, hydrogenated palm oil, sugar, cooked chicken powder, hydrolyzed corn protein, autolyzed yeast extract, barley, chicken fat, water, I can't even pronounce that, maltodextrin, natural flavor, that sounds like natural flavor to me, dehydrated parsley flakes, disodium inosinate, citric acid, iodized salt, salt potassium iodide, caramel color, yellow, animated color, TBHQ, used to protect quality. Sounds delicious. Anyway, you know, you can see what my point is. When you take these beef marrow bones, roast them in the oven, put some tomato paste in there after they're browned, put it back in the oven, brown it all a little bit more. This tomato paste will kind of turn a little caramelized. Take that out, put it in a pot, fill it with water to the, you know, as high as the bones are. We've got 2 more packs of bones, so I'm going to do these first, show you what it's like, and then I'm going to add those other ones in and do those and put those in the pot. You bring it to the boil and you simmer it, and for about, you know, 6, 7, 8 hours even, you know, and all that goodness is just extracted from this marrow. Marrow, if you go to Google and you check out the benefits of beef marrow, it's endless. And there is so much goodness in beef marrow. It's good for your, it's got glucosamine in it, great for your joints, sodium, calcium, zinc, calcium, zinc. It's great for your immune system. It's got fatty acids in it, amino acids. It's really good stuff, you know. And when you just take that and simmer it in water with a little tomato paste for 8 hours, all that goodness comes out into that water. And I'll show you how we process that. And this is specifically for, I mean, you can make a glorious soup out of it, you know. I mean, a really glorious soup for somebody really special. But the thing is with this, it's like liquid gold, you know. You cook it down. Because what's in fluids, like a beef stock, is mostly water, right? So when you cook the stock, the water escapes into the air as a gas. And what's remaining gets more condensed and stronger and richer and stronger and richer until you can get this stuff down to like a gluey, like paste, okay? Really strong stuff. So when you're making a sauce in a frying pan to go with whatever you have in the oven, you just take a couple of spoonfuls of that, stick it in there, and add it in, whisk it in with the rest of your ingredients. You got sauce. I personally don't like to get it down to that really gluey consistency. I like it still fluid, because once you heat it up, it gets thicker. So, you know, when you put it in the gluey stuff in the pan, you whisk it in with what, red wine or brandy or whatever you want to make it, you know, fresh herbs and all that. It's going to condense really quickly. So I like to have it still in a fluid form so I can still reduce it in the frying pan or in the sauteuse with a sauce that I'm making for the major ingredient in my dish. Okay? So we're going to take these bones. You don't salt them, you don't do anything to them, and don't put aluminum foil in the bottom of the pan here. And the reason is because we're going to deglaze this pan. A lot of the goodness, when we take these bones out of here, is going to be stuck to the pan. So you can use, you put it over a flame. You don't want to burn the pan too badly, but it doesn't take long to get it good and hot. You hit it with water and they're all bubbles, and all that goodness comes right off the pan, and you pour that goodness right into the pot where these bones are going to go. Okay? So you don't waste anything. You can use red wine to deglaze. It's always nice. The alcohol burns out of the wine, so you don't have alcohol in the wine. All you've got is the grapes and the richness of the wine. No alcohol, so makes for a beautiful flavor. We'll talk more about that, but this marrow has been used for centuries by cultures all over the planet. A lot of people will cut the bone lengthwise. They call it canoe, so that you can really get access to that marrow. And after you've roasted it, you take the marrow out, you add some parsley and some fresh thyme, a little salt and pepper, a little lemon juice or white wine vinegar, whip it, turns into a butter, and you serve that on toast. I know, that sounds a little weird. A lot of people don't take elephant garlic, roast that, and just eat straight garlic, but I do. It's yummy. Anyway, you can see the marrow right here in the bone. And you want the beef bones to be like this size so the water has access to the marrow. If you get long bones, that's not so good. It's easier for the water to flow around this as it cooks and gets all the goodness of the marrow out into the stock. So there's your marrow bones. Sweet, huh? Now these bones also, these are leg bones. These are not back bones, because you don't get marrow in a backbone. You get them in the femur and the tibia, and that's what these bones are. These are specifically made for either eating the marrow, roasting and eating the marrow, or making a nice stock. You see that right there? Ooh, we're going to eat good. And you can make a sauce with this for so many different things. It's so rich and so beautiful. And it doesn't have any of that junk in it, because you made it, okay? That's what we're going to do here. We're going to make stuff that we make. We don't buy it in the store. We make it. It's no trouble. It's easy. And, noble thoughts make for good food. And this is a noble thought. We're making it ourselves. We're going to the trouble of making something special for the people we love, right? Okay, good. So, the oven is preheated to 375 degrees, and we're about to stick this in here. It's going to take about half an hour, maybe 35 minutes for these bones to brown a little bit. Then we're going to paint the tomato paste on the bones. Another 20 minutes at 375, and the tomato paste is going to turn slightly brown, a little caramelized. At that point, we take it out and we add it into a pot with some water. We're going to do these after that. So I'll show you both stages. Okay. Thanks. Here we go. Okay, these bones were in at 375 for 1/2 an hour. I took them out and I put the tomato paste on there. Put them back in for about 7-8 minutes at 375. This is what they look like. They look a little black, but they're not. They're fine. That's going to make a nice stock. The oven might have been a little hot. 375, some ovens are a little hotter. So I put it down to 350 to cook the bones a little bit slower next time. But it's going to be fine. You can see the tomato product is cooked. The bones are browned. And so we're going to put these in the pot and cover them with water. I've got one more batch to go in, and then we'll show you what happens when we cover them with water, what we do. Okay, but that's what they look like. Beautiful. That's beautiful to me. All right, we're back. We got our bones done. They're browned. About 5 minutes more in the oven with the tomato paste on there. We had a small can of tomato paste, and this is what left over, so you use about 2/3 of a cup, 2/3 of a can of the tomato paste. So that's done. I've covered the bones with water. What we're going to do is we're going to bring it to the boil, and then we're going to lower it to a simmer. Now, simmer means bubbles occasionally breaking the surface. So, if you got more than a few bubbles breaking the surface, just turn it down a little bit, but you're going to simmer it, okay? All that stuff just needs to congeal in there. It needs to cook. It needs to make beautiful fond, okay? Here's your fond right here. You can see it on here. It's just the brown part of the bones. There's very little on here. Sometimes you're going to get more, okay? You see this brown stuff? This is all good. We're going to deglaze this, okay? And the way you deglaze it is you got a nice hot, sometimes, you use, it's nice to have the gas, because then you can see how powerful your flame is. With an electric oven, it's really difficult to gauge how hot it is, But with a flame, if you're used to the flame, I can feel this is hot, okay? So we're going to put it on here just really quickly. We're going to deglaze it with a little red wine. Cabernet Sauvignon. Put it on there, it's going to get hot. Just a little red wine. And that fond is going to come right off of there. You just stir it around. Get it all in there because you don't want to waste any, because this is all good flavorful stuff. Now when I cooked the bones, there was a lot of fat, okay? You don't want the fat in there. Just drain that off in the sink. Run your hot water in the sink and it'll be fine. There's not a lot. I mean, it's not like cooking bacon or anything, right? See, now your alcohol is cooking right out of that wine. You mix all your fond in there. Gotta reduce it a little bit. Don't want it to burn. Get all that stuff off the pan. This is a no grease pan. If you have a pan that's non-stick, then it's easy. If it's a stick pan, then you gotta just scrape it a little bit more. Then just throw everything in here. Get it all in there. And the hard part's done. Now, you just sit back and wait for the boil. It looks gorgeous already, doesn't it? Can you see that? Can you see how beautiful that is already? I'll give you a closer look to it, but it's already got a nice brown, yummy looking color to it. Beautiful. Oh! I saved the bone so we can get right in here and we can taste the marrow. It's like butter. It's like meaty butter. Yeah, but when you do these bones and you want to get the marrow out, what you do is you ask the butcher to canoe the bones. So he's going to cut them lengthwise. You're going to get beautiful marrow on both sides, and then it's easier to get the marrow out. And he doesn't have to cut it in short sections. He can leave them, 6-7 inches long. That's about half of a cow's femur, right? You only use the leg bones, remember? No rib bones, no backbone, nothing like that. Just leg bones, because they're the nice thick ones. So they'll throw that baby in there. That is delicious stuff. You're going to love it. And you can see it's turning a lovely color. We're going to bring it to the boil, and then we're going to bring it down to the simmer. Bubbles occasionally breaking the surface. And we're going to let it simmer for about 6-7 hours, okay? Then we're going to take the bones out. We're going to put it through a china cap or a sieve. Going to save the bones. Going to save, of course, the stock. We're going to put that back on the oven. We're going to take the bones, put them back in the pot, and we're going to wet the bones. We're just going to wet them down, you know, get all that good stuff off the bones, put that water in there again, and then the bones go. Out they go. And so we'll get to that the next phase. When the stock is boiled, I've reduced it down, taking the bones out. Oh, when we do the wetting part, then I'll be back on the video to go with you over that. And then it's just a matter of simmering it and reducing it down by about half. You're still going to have plenty of fluid in there, but you're going to have a good, strong stock. It's going to be beautiful. Okay, I'll see you in the next round. Okay, as you can see, we've got it to the boil. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to turn it down to low, and we'll see how that goes. Shouldn't take too long to get down there. And then when it's nice and cool, we might adjust it till the bubbles occasionally are breaking the surface, simmering. And we're going to let it go for about 6 hours. Okay, you can see we got some stuff floating around in there. That's beautiful. After we strain it through the liquid, then we're going to strain it again through cheesecloth. And that's going to get it all out of there. We can do it twice through cheesecloth, and it's going to be absolutely pure with no debris in it at all. Okay, but you can see how it's a nice brown color right now. Oh yeah, looking good. And as we go along, as we reduce it, it's going to get even richer, nicer brown. It's going to be lovely. Okay, see you in about 8 hours. Bye. Hello everyone, we are back. Our stock has been simmering for 8 hours. It's a beautiful brown stock, it's lovely. I'm in Naples, Florida. We're having a thunderstorm, so if you hear thunder in the background, that's what's going on. I took the bones out with a spoon first because I wanted to remove the marrow out of the bones. You can see they're all, here's one. You see there's marrow left in there. I just take it out with a paring knife. I'm going to make a spread with that, with tarragon, fresh parsley, lemon juice, salt and pepper. I'm going to drain that off and whip that up together, and it's going to be great. I don't think my girlfriend's going to like it, but I know I'm going to like it. It's really good for you, and it's tasty. It's delicious stuff. Okay, some people aren't going to like that. That's okay. We don't have to like all the same stuff, do we? So now I'm going to put our colander in the sink over here. I'm going to take our pot and I'm going to strain this for the first time. Okay? Here it goes. Get it all out of there. Alright, that burner's on, so I'm not going to put it back on the burner. Take my colander out with all the strained stuff, the fats and extraneous things that are in there. Tendon and all that wonderful beefy stuff. I'm going to take our I'm going to take our new pot with the juices strained, put it back on the burner. Now, this is important. Take all the bones, put it back in the pot. And the reason is because all that goodness, a lot of it's left on the bones. So what we do is we just wet them down, agitate them, strain it off again, and then add the fluid, that last fluid, into there. Because we don't want to waste any of the residue that's on these bones there, right? Okay, good. So just going to run some water in there. Some people actually simmer it all again. I don't think we're going to get much more out of here. All I want to do is wash these bones, get all the residue stock off of them. We need to clean it up now already, and the water's getting brown. And that means there's good residue on here. We don't want to waste it. So now We're going to take our pot again. Put the colander in there. And strain this off. Okay. Colander's coming out. So now what we have is we have about 4 quarts of brown stock in there, strained. Okay? So we're going to reduce this by about half, maybe not quite half, because that'll take a while. I'm going to bump up the heat till it bubbles. We don't want it to spread all over the beautiful stoves that my girlfriend Linda takes such good care of. But we're going to reduce it down, and as it gets a little lower, then we're going to come back and we're going to strain it through cheesecloth a couple of times. Then we're going to get a really pure sauce. Then we're going to lower it until it gets just right, and we'll be done. Okay? So I'm going to make some spread on French toast for this. Ooh, not French toast, but on French bread for this. Yummy. Have a nice glass of red wine tonight. Okay, I'll be back. Hello everybody! I hope you all are doing well, enjoying this video. I love doing this stuff. It's getting down to basics, you know? It's not just going buying packages and putting it together. It's getting down to basics and really enjoying it. You know, I was just cleaning up the kitchen thinking, it took me a while to learn that, but a real good cook, they clean as they go, so the kitchen's organized. As you can see, what we're doing is we're boiling our stock here. That's reducing it. All this stuff coming out of there is water. So we're taking the water out by boiling it, and that's making what's in there more condensed, more flavorful. So now what we're going to do though is we don't want to get it down too far without really straining it and purifying it. So I've got the colander here with cheesecloth in it. Okay, we'll probably do this twice. I may not show you how to do it twice because there's nothing scientific about this. You don't have to do it while it's boiling. It's probably safer not to do it while it's boiling. It'd be funny if I spilled it on myself and yelled on this video, but there it is. You got your colander with your cheesecloth in it. This is just a single fold. It's not double folded. I'm probably going to do this twice. And what we're going to do is we're going to simply pour the stock through the cheesecloth. And strain it nice. We've already just strained it through the colander once. Whoops! There it goes. Down into the stock. No problem. No problem. In fact, I think we'll get away with just leaving it like that. We'll see. Pour the rest of it in there. There's the gloopy stuff on the bottom. And we'll put that pot in the sink. Now, we'll maneuver this colander out of here. Don't try this at home, kids. It takes a little while for it to strain off because you got your solids in there. Just stir it around a little bit. Hot. Woo, it's hot. So you just stir it around a little bit, you get those solids off of the cheesecloth, and then it'll go through there. Cheesecloth is great stuff. You can do so much with this. We're going to poach some fish. Wrap it in cheesecloth like a king salmon. Wrap it in cheesecloth. It's amazing. You put it in a quart bouillon, poach it fully, take it out with the strings attached with the cheesecloth around the fish, and when you take the cheesecloth off, the skin comes off, and all you have is that beautiful pink flesh. Turn it over, you take the bones out, the bone comes right out, put it back, and then we're going to cover it with a mayonnaise, a homemade mayonnaise sauce with cucumber slices and decorate. Oh man, I'm telling you what, fit for a king. Okay, so that's the first strain off here. Okay, you see what we got? A lot of little impurities in there. We don't want that. No. And you see what we got now? She's getting real nice and clean and pure and beautiful. Oh, I'm going to show you something really neat the next time through. We've got, you know, it's probably reduced by, I don't know, 25% now. We're going to let her go another half an hour or so, and I'll see you then. All right, our adventure in beef stock is over, and there she is. Beautiful thing. We're going to saute up some garlic and some shallot tonight. We're going to throw in some tomato concasse and a few mushrooms, and then we're going to deglaze that with red wine, and we're going to put about a cup and a half, about a cup of this in there. Let it cook down, hit it with salt and pepper, and then finish with butter. When this cooks down, it gets darker and browner and thicker and much richer. And then we're going to cover our pork chops with it. It's going to be absolutely out of this world. So I hope you enjoyed this adventure in beef stock. Next week we're going to make mayonnaise, homemade mayonnaise. We're going to make green mayonnaise. We're going to make yellow mayonnaise. We're going to cover poached fish with it. We're going to do so many great things with mayonnaise. It's wonderful. And it's nothing like Hellman's. So I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up down below. And if you'd like to subscribe, hit the subscribe button. And we'll see you next time. All right. Have a great day, y'all. Bye-bye.